United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So at the end of the regular business.
A few items before we get started. We had our jet ski dock lottery this week, very successful, with over 30 people applying for a spot to put a jet ski with 6 spaces available. And they will be installed in the next couple of weeks, and with Trustee Tucker in charge of that, I think we could probably potentially get 2 more. So there'll be a total of 8 jet skis at the creek. So it was a very successful project, and thank you to the ladies in the office that ran the lottery. The second thing is down at Soundside East, the Pinkerton family donated a absolutely gorgeous compass brick inlay in the parking lot. It's completed. If you haven't seen it, stop by and take a look. It's in memory of Hank Pinkerton, who was also a board member here at the village for some time, and we will look to have a public dedication ceremony in the summer when the weather is better. And speaking of better weather, as I promised you, construction restarted today at the Steve's Pier site. Now that the weather broke, the lumber has been delivered and the dirt pile is being moved, and they are back to working on the 3 houses that will be constructed. That's all I have.
So we'll do a few items from the agenda before we start our first public hearing at 6:35. So the first item on the agenda are the warrants and claims, which have been audited and are submitted to you for approval and authorization for the village clerk to pay them.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Trustee
I'll
Tucker.
second.
Thank you, Trustee Boyle Mayor. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Dalsecki?
Yes.
Mayor Minneke?
Yes.
The next item are the budget transfers, which have been prepared for your review and are submitted for your approval. And upon approval, the village clerk treasurer is authorized to make the transfers. Do I have a motion to accept the budget transfers as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Trustee Santoro.
I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee DiBartolomeo. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Dalsecki?
Yes.
Mayor Minneke?
Yes.
The next item on the prior meeting minutes from the February 27th, 2025 meeting, and unless anyone has any changes, I ask that we have a motion to approve them as presented.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Trustee Dalsecki.
I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee Tucker. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Dalsecki of St. Gertrude's has asked for, they've made a request to use, from St. Gertrude's, to use West Harbor Beach on April 20, 2025 at 6:30 a.m. for their Sunrise Easter Sunday Mass.
I make a motion.
Thank you, Jill.
Yes.
Trustee Dalsecki.
Yes.
Mayor Minneke.
Yes.
The next item is a request from the building inspector to amend the current building department fees as presented to you. The last time these were amended were in 2021.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Trustee Dalsecki.
I'll second that.
I'm sorry,
I'll
Trustee
second
Di Natale, thank you. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Dalsecki?
Yes.
Mayor Minneke?
Yes.
We H2M. The item before you is a proposal from GovWell to provide building permit and inspection software to manage building permits, inspections, and plan review. It includes online portal for improving access and transparency to the public for a 3-year term with a year 1 annual cost of $15,000 and an annual cost of $12,000 for year 2 and year 3 each. And there is a proposal from H2M, which dovetails with the GovWell program, to provide support for deployment of ARC GIS Online, which again will interface with GovWell, and the total cost for that is a not to exceed of $3,500.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Trustee Santoro.
Second that.
Thank you, Trustee Di Natale. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Valsecchi?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozy?
Yes.
At this time, it is 6:35, so we can open and start the first public in the state of New York. We'll hold the public 11709 for the purpose of considering a contract proposed by the board to be entered into with Bayville Fire Company Number 1, Inc., since interested in the same. The proposed fire protection contract is for a one-year term commencing on June 1st, 2025, and ending on May 31st, 2026, and calls for an annual payment by the village to the fire company in the amount of $687,738.39. Under the contract, the village will also provide volunteer firefighters with coverage under the Volunteer Firefighter Benefit Law at an additional expense. The village clerk will be available for review and inspection at said public hearing and will be presented to the residents and taxpayers of the village and the members of the board thereof at this public hearing. The board will consider public comments on the proposed contract and the adoption of resolution approving the contract, authorizing the mayor to execute same on behalf of the village and its board of trustees. By order of the board of trustees, Incorporated Village of Bayville, Maria Alfano Party, village clerk treasurer. It's dated March 10th, 2025. For the record, there's an affidavit of publication, an affidavit of posting, and I will turn the hearing over to you, Mayor.
Thank you. I would like to also point out that the fire department did not get an increase in their budget this year, so that their number remained flat to the prior year. Did anybody have any questions? No? No
No
questions.
questions? All right, so then I will take a motion to close the public hearing. Let the record show 6:38 p.m.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Valsecchi. Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Trustee Valsecchi.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozy.
Yes.
And now I would, the proposed contract, approve the contract and authorize the mayor to execute the same on behalf of the village and its board of trustees. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Trustee Santoro. And Trustee Walsh, thank you.
Yes.
Trustee Walsh, Mayor Minicozy.
Yes.
Thank you. The next hearing is to start at 6:40 p.m., so we have a moment. So we can go back and look at the bridge marina proposal for mooring services, and that they will inspect moorings to be set. They will set moorings at the creek in West Harbor. They'll be available to make one scheduled drop per month in April, May, and June. The rates for installation of moorings during the scheduled drops are $95 for 150 pounds or less, $115 for 151 pounds to 250 pounds, $140 for 25 pounds to 350 pounds, and $165 for over 35 pounds. They will supply and install at a cost of $360 to the village one courtesy guest mooring, approved mushroom type chain and swivels. They're available to make additional mooring drops as deemed necessary, and they'll bill the customers directly, and they're available to remove and store any boats in violation of village code. So, do we have a motion to accept Bridge Marina's proposal, which is dated March 20th, 2025?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee Tucker. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Valsecchi?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozy?
Yes.
It's now 6:41 p.m. We can begin the hearing. In the next hearing, I will read the notice. Notice is hereby given that the Board of Trustees of the Incorporated Village of Bayville will hold a public hearing commencing at 6:40 p.m. Let the record show 6:41 p.m. on Monday, March 24th, 2025 at the Village Hall, 31st School Street, Bayville, New York, 11709. The purpose of said hearing is for the Board of Trustees to consider the tentative budget for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2026. Pursuant to Section 5-508 of the Village Law, the tentative budget has been prepared and is available for inspection during regular business hours from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday at the office of the village clerk. The tentative budget includes the following the following: maximum compensation of $5,000 per annum for the mayor, maximum compensation of $3,000 per annum for each trustee, appropriations for Bayville Fire Company number 1, and appropriations for Bayville Free Library by order of the Board of Trustees, Incorporated Village of Bayville, Maria Alfano Hardy, Village Clerk Treasurer. The notice is dated March 10th, 2025. For the record, there is an affidavit of publication and an affidavit of posting. I'll turn the hearing over to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Comments, questions?
Comments, questions? Sure.
You know I never speak in public office. Katie Schlicht, 12 Waverly Avenue. I would be remiss if I didn't comment on behalf of the Bayville Free Library. I know that the budget was a 0% again this year, and I understand that the village has many expenses, but I just want everyone to be aware that this is the third year. We've had a 0% increase in our budget, and it will be very challenging, and we will make sure it works, but I just want to bring that to everybody's attention. We will continue to serve at the best ability we can. We have some of our staff and our director here and our support, and I just want everyone to be aware of that. And hopefully next year, this will not be the same situation. Thank you.
Anyone else like to comment?
Yes. Todd Kaiser, 3 Ellison Street. First off, I want to thank the mayor and the board for all the support for the Bayville Arts Center. We've had a tremendous season this year, last 3 performances. My concern is with the budget. I understand that it's going to be a 0 increase, which is fine, but more my concern is with the donations, which we've accumulated over the year. Approximately $3,000, and there's about $1,500 left. As I understand it, that cannot be rolled over and will be rolled into general funds. The purpose of the donations were to provide additional funds. The budget provides for the acts, pays for the acts, but the donations were to provide for capital improvements, microphones, soundboard, all of the equipment for the performances. And I just don't think it's right that since we haven't spent all of it, $1,500 remains, that it's going to be just rolled into the budget. My suggestion is keep the budget the same. That's fine. I understand you have to close the books on that. But for the donations, if you could take what's remaining and add it on to the budget so we can build that capital fund to do larger projects in the community center, it would be much appreciated.
I don't know what the rule is, but I know there's rules regarding this that you were explaining to me, that the money cannot be carried over.
So
That's not our restriction, that's.
So any funds coming into the general fund are just that, they're part of the general fund. They can then be appropriated for different uses, such as for uses for the Bayville Village Arts Council. That being said, at the end of every fiscal year, all appropriations expire. It's the New York State Office of Controller, it's the way the budgets work. At every end of every fiscal year, any appropriations not expended expire.
Which is understandable, because it's law, but what I'm suggesting is to take the remaining donations budget, or funds, and add them on to the budget. So say we had 10 grand as a budget, and we have 1,500 left over, then our budget for this year would be 1,100. 11,500. There's about 1,500 as I understand it. I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
We don't want to just spend that willy-nilly. I mean, because we had pizza for, because we're trying to use up that fund, but we rather spend it on capital improvements to that. And if it expires every year, we have to wait until we receive donations, if we continue to receive donations, to build up the amount of money we need to do the capital improvements. So as I'm suggesting is, if you could maintain the budget as it is, zero growth, but add in the remaining donation funds to make the total budget a little larger, so that we can expend not only the bands, but we can spend some of the budget on capital improvements.
So with the capital improvement projects in the past, the majority of them were paid for by the village, not by you.
I mean, the village has done definitely capital improvement, but we bought the microphones, we bought soundboards, we
That's not.
well, I mean, yes, we will, need additional equipment
Or
and stuff.
prepay for a band that's gonna be, can you do that? Prepay.
Can't prepay.
We were using the monies above our given budget to support all those different causes with Art Center. And, we've really tried to expand what we have. We have landscape art shows and children's art shows and opera and,
No, it's
really
great. We get great things, but unfortunately, it seems like our hands are tied on this. The rules are what they are, and you're gonna have to buy something that you need before May 31st, or it's gonna roll into the general fund.
And you can't increase the budget by that leftover amount on the.
We don't know what it's gonna be,
Recreation.
number one. I mean, you might spend some of it before the 31st, I'm assuming.
We were planning to see what the results of this meeting were, because we, don't want to lose it, but it wasn't on the type of stuff that, we wanted to spend it on. We can't fit in another concert, another performance. So we, bought pizza for the crowd and, things like that. Rather have it used for the equipment and stuff we need to, we can keep the main budget as it is, but if you could add in what's left over from the donations, because that's the spirit of what people donated for. We told them that it was going to be used to improve the center.
We'll talk about it and see if there's some way to do it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other comments, or questions?
Okay, we'll close, nobody has anyone, then we'll close the hearing. I'll take a motion to close the hearing at 6:50 PM.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, trustee Bartolomeo.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Balsecki. Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Gina Towers.
Yes.
Trustee Bartolomeo.
Yes.
Trustee Balsecki.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi.
Yes.
Now, there'll be two resolutions to be passed. The first one is to change one of the line items in the tentative budget for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2026. We're changing the line item for the ad valorem taxes from $5,641,309 to $5,614,309. So that number is actually coming down. And a change to appropriated fund balance from $1,226,490 to $1,253,490. And I'm sorry, those can all be one resolution. And be further resolved to adopt the tentative budget as amended for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2026. So I need a motion, please.
I'll make that.
Thank you, trustee.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Santoro. Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Natale.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Trustee Balsecki.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi.
Yes.
The next hearing is scheduled for 6:45 PM. This is the, no, I thought it was going to be two, but there is one. We made a change and we adopted it, but thank you. Okay. So the next one is the hearing for proposed local law A 2025, and I'll read the notice. Notice is hereby given that the Board of Trustees of the Incorporated Village of Bayville will hold a public hearing commencing at 6:45 PM at Record Shop, 34 School Street, Bayville, New York, 11709, with respect to the matters summarized below. Amendment to Chapter 80 zoning. A local law to amend Chapter 80 zoning, Article 1, General Provisions, Section 80-3, definitions, by adding definitions of kitchen, non-conforming building, non-conforming use, amending the definitions of mother-daughter residence, outdoor swimming pool, single or one-family dwelling, and transient rental. Add new Article 3, parent-child residence, amend Article 10, business districts, Section 80-46, area, bulk, and parking requirements, amend Article 13, regulations applicable to 61, fences, to fences, visibility at street intersection and mailboxes, add new Section 80-61.1, visibility at street intersections, and new Section 80-61.2, mailboxes, amend Section 80-66, use of accessory buildings for dwelling purposes, Section 80-67, motor vehicle parking and storage in resident districts, amend Article 15, outdoor swimming pools, amend Section 80-72, permit required, amend Article 16, non-conforming uses and structures, Section 80-81, restoration, and Section 80-82, alterations, amend Article 18, Board of Appeals, amend Section 80-87, organizations, Section 80-88, power and duties, Section 80-89, filing fees and costs, amend Article 21, special permit uses, Section 80-95, and Section 80-96D, Article 22, site development plan approval, 23, Committee of Architectural Review, Section 80-108, purpose finding, Section 80-109, committee created, Section 80-110, meetings, Section 80-114, fees, and Section 80-115, when effective, of the Code of the Village of Bayville. The code was adopted by Local Law 1-1981 on February 9th, 1981, and last amended by the Board of Trustees on September 23rd, 2024, by Local Law 2-2024. A copy of the proposed local law is on file with the village clerk and is available for review at the village hall or on the village website. All persons interested will be heard at the above time and place. By order of the Board of Trustees, Incorporated Village of Bayville, Maria Alfano Hardy, Village Clerk Treasurer. It is, the notice is dated March 10, 2025. For the record, there's an application of publication. There's an affidavit of posting. We have the resolution from the Nassau County Planning Commission as required, and they're referring it back to the Village of Bayville for its determination. And Mr.
And
Wiley, you
I
have
have the affidavits of mailing of the notices of hearing that are required, and the following ones have been taken care of. It's the affidavit of mailing dated February 4, 2025 to the Nassau County Planning Commission, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the Village of Bayville Trustees. In closing, secret part number 1, the notice of intent to establish lead agency, along with a copy of proposed local law A-2025. We also have a copy of the Nassau County Resolution 25, which was referred to recently by the village clerk. We also have the affidavit of mailing dated March 14, 2025 to the adjoining villages of Center Island and the Nassau County Legislature, the town of Oyster Bay, and the other villages that were required to get notice. We also have part 3 of the full environmental assessment form that has been the evaluation of the magnitude and the importance of the project impacts and the determination of significance signed by the mayor and the village attorney dated today. So with that, I would suggest that we can take any comments.
Would anybody like to comment or have a question on that? Yes, sir?
Peter, Michael Collins, I spoke to you today.
Yes,
I just wanted to,
Mr.
Excuse me,
Collins.
Mr. Collins, you
all you guys to, on the website.
Well,
Yeah, the amendments to the
Excuse me,
website.
just look at
Right
that.
spot, right?
Yes. Mhm. Exactly.
All right, so here it is.
It starts on page, just a minute.
Yeah, I see it. I clicked on the app, I just wanted to know.
Have one already, right?
Yeah, I just want to remain the same, you know, it's just that my mother-in-law and father-in-law passed away.
Well, I don't know about when certain persons passed away, but this is the present law that we're trying to adopt now. There are changes to the so-called former mother-daughter
Right,
use. It is now called allowing the so-called parent-child residences, but there's a process that's a little more standardized now. It's codifying the law as to what the zoning board needs to do to make findings to allow those uses to be established. And it is a kind of a thing that hasn't been done before in the past. All the uses were based upon a decision of the Board of Appeals, and now the standards talk about certain things that have to be met. And it also changes things to require that the permits now are going to be done on an annual basis. It's just organizing the whole system a little bit. And so we do think it's along with some of the other improvements that are shown in the code, it's going to make it easier for the public, in a sense, to understand the code. The prior code for the zoning board of appeals used to call things special use permits, but the older code, or the present code that we're dealing with as of today, until this is adopted, also referred to special use permits by the Board of Trustees as special use permits. So there was confusion there. So what we've done in a way is cleaned up the code a little bit. Now we're going to call but the special permit is going to be something that the Board of Trustees adopts. It's a little bit different. And so basically, and then there's quite some technical changes. We talk about things that require sight distances on corners. Now there's a diagram in the code that's going to show you exactly what you need to do when you have a corner plot and you don't want to end up obstructing someone's view on a dangerous corner. So those are the kind of things that are contained in this new local law.
I appreciate that, I didn't get a chance to look at it.
Okay.
I appreciate it, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have a comment? Question?
No? Okay, so the first motion that I will ask for is a motion to close the hearing, and I'll let the record show it is 7:01 p.m.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, trustee Valiquette. Thank you, trustee DiBartolomeo. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Valiquette?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi?
Yes.
The next resolution is a lead agency designation. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Bayville Village Board adopted a resolution on January 27, 2025 for the introduction of proposed local law A-2025 to amend Chapter 80 zoning of the Code of the Village of Bayville and declared itself lead agency pursuant to the New York State Environmental Agency status to involve agencies with a copy of proposed local law A-2025 and environmental assessment form EAF Part 1 on February 6, 2025. And whereas the village board is not in receipt of any letter or notice within the required 30-day period from any agency disputing the lead agency declaration, and now be it resolved that the village board is hereby confirmed as lead agency for the secret review of proposed local law A-2025. I need somebody to move that, please.
Make the motion.
Thank you, trustee Tucker.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Santoro. Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale.
Yes.
Trustee Di Bartolomeo.
Yes.
Trustee Belzetti.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi.
Yes.
The next resolution is a negative declaration, whereas the village board has determined that the proposed action is a type 1 action in accordance with SECRA regulations, and whereas the village board has directed the preparation and review of the full environmental form, FEAF Part 1, which form was duly circulated to various agencies for comment with no comments received, and whereas FEAF Part 2 was prepared and reviewed along with the criteria contained in 6 NYCRR 61 7.7C in order to determine whether the proposed action had the potential to result in any significant adverse impact on the environment. And whereas the requisite hard look at the environmental impacts has been made and has been determined in the FEAF Part 3, that the proposed zoning amendments do not create any new issues which would have any substantial impact on the physical nature of the land or buildings in the village, and that the proposed action will only establish desired changes to facilitate proper administration of the village zoning regulations and will not result in significant environmental impacts. And now be it resolved, based upon its review of the proposed action, the village board hereby makes a negative declaration and determines that proposed local law A-2025 will not result in any significant adverse impact on the environment. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, trustee Santoro.
Second?
Thank you, trustee Belzetti. Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale.
Yes.
Trustee Di Bartolomeo.
Yes.
Trustee Belzetti.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi.
Yes.
And the final resolution will be the adoption of local law, whereas a duly noticed public hearing was held before the Board of Trustees on March 24th, 2025 at 6:45 p.m. at the Village Hall located at 34 School Street, Bayville, New York, at which time all attendees had an opportunity to comment on the proposed local law. Now be it resolved that proposed local law A-2025 hereby adopted as local law number 1 of the year 2025, and B, and the same hereby is enacted by the Board of Trustees of the Incorporated Village of Bayville as follows, at which time the complete text of the local law will be inserted into the minutes, correct? Mr. Wiley?
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee Di Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Belzetti?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi?
Yes.
We will now go back to rest of the agenda. Okay, the next item, or where we left off, is, we have proposals for road striping, various line striping in the village of Bayville for a total cost of $8,745, and the proposal from Steve Mollison was the low proposal for this work.
I make a motion.
Thank you, trustee Di Bartolomeo.
I'll second that.
Thank you, trustee Di Natale. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Excuse me, trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee Di Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Belzetti?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi?
Yes.
The next item is we needed to do an emergency repair of the security cameras at the Creek Marina. So I am asking that the board approve and unvote the proposal from Ultra Audio Video and Security for the installation and placement of security cameras at Creek Marina for a total cost of $4,199. Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Di Natale?
Yes.
Trustee Di Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Trustee Belzetti?
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi?
Yes.
And the next item on the agenda is the PA system. I apologize, my papers are a little out of order. The next is the proposal for the PA system, and that's a resolution to accept a proposal from Ultra Audio Video and Security for the installation of replacement PA system in Village Hall boardroom for a total cost of $1,643.98.
I make a motion.
Thank you, trustee Bartolomeo.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee Tucker. Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Natale.
Yes.
Trustee Bartolomeo.
Yes.
Trustee Delsecki.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi.
Yes.
We are going to do the summer hires for the 2025 beach season. You have had presented before you the lifeguards and the beach attendants, and their names will be entered in the minutes of the meeting. You have both schedules before you, and I ask for a resolution to approve the hiring of lifeguards and beach attendants.
Make a motion?
Thank you, trustee Natale.
Yes.
Trustee Bartolomeo.
Yes.
Trustee Delsecki.
Yes.
Mayor Minicozzi.
Yes.
And I think that concludes the business that was on the, this meeting's agenda.
All right, thank you. So we have a very large crowd here tonight, which is unusual. So who would like to comment first?
Hi, Bill Dwyer, 16 Pine Park Avenue. I just want to make a brief update to my comments last month urging the village board to be proactive in trying to save the Rouse Mansion. Since I spoke, at least 2 trustees have indicated they are very interested in helping to come up with a solution. So what I'd like to do is urge the village board to create a committee of interested trustees to work with United Street Equality and interested residents to try to come up with a solution to prevent demolition of the mansion. That's basically all I wanted to say. So, again, I just urge, if we're not proactive, we'll lose the mansion. So, thank you very much.
Mansion. But I am concerned about the fact that Albany is once again trying to railroad through. I think this is their 4th attempt to build what's going to circumvent local zoning. I want to know if this board has actually taken any stand. I know Town Board Supervisor Saladino held a press conference that was in a lot of the local papers. If there hasn't been a group formed by the Nassau County villages, I would urge you all to get behind it and maybe spearhead it, but they keep trying and eventually they're going to succeed. And you've got to raise your voice if you haven't already and say this can't stand. If they take over local zoning, our village is going to be one of the first targets for multiple housing dwellings and what will be an unmitigated disaster. And with places like this, Rouse, New Hampshire, that'll be one of the first targets they'll hit.
Last meeting you said you wanted multi-housing there.
No, I didn't say that. I said I wanted a few houses. You're misconstruing what I said. I said if it's the only way to save it. And all I did, I listened last month was an FYI. This is what they did at Long Meadow and Glen Cove. It succeeded in keeping that property from becoming like 18. Much bigger piece of land than the one here. Thank you.
David using 27 Jefferson Avenue. One of the things that I would like to see is that the building and the property remain the way it is with some modification. We don't need to put a whole bunch of houses in there. I would like to see if you're going to do anything with the building as it is, turn it into a hotel. Okay, that way people can come up to Bayville, spend time here, have a place to live, and it would be a nice building for that purpose. I don't think we need a bunch of whole other houses around there. The building is, from what the sign that was recently put up in front of it is, it has 78 rooms. So I'm sure that some of those could be modified to turn it into a good hotel. And like I say, also the other thing we need to look at in this country is we need to make historical buildings and historical properties. And if you look at Newsday, there's constant effort done to do this with properties on Long Island. So my suggestion is do not allow it to be torn down. Do not allow a bunch of whole new houses. One of the things to do to maintain the building would be to consider making it a hotel for people to come up and visit Bayville.
It is residentially zoned, just so you know, so a hotel would not be a permitted use on the property. And again, I want to remind everybody that there has been nothing put forward to us for the demolition of the site, the subdivision of the site. This all began, somebody heard something from somebody in the museum, as most Bayville rumors start. But there has been nothing brought to the board for any of this. Although the UCP Center does desire to sell the property, they don't know to who, they don't, there is nothing in the works yet to try, you all talk about tearing it down, nobody knows if it's going to be torn down. This
Well,
is,
the sign that was put up in front covered the original owner of the house, who had a dock there for his yacht. And then the second owner had an airplane hangar there for his airplane. And then it became a hospital and then a commercial building. So if you're gonna say, well, we can't make it a hotel, well, was it approved originally when it was built as a hospital? Okay, so we need to look at how we can maintain a historical site. Okay, might have to do this, but at least you would have one building on the property, the building that's there, and it would remain a historical site. The inside might change if you make it a hotel. Because there are a lot of them out there that need it.
Yeah, there are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you.
Jake Fillmore, 91 Robert. Hi everyone, my name is Jake. I'm a sophomore student at Lucas Valley High School, and I want to give you my perspective on the Clarkson Estate County House. I've lived in Bayville for 6 years, and I've been studying the mansions in Bayville in the local area for about 3. Recently, I embarked on a project in which I meant to document and map out all of the mansions to be built from 1870 to present within Bayville. To my understanding, there were 6, by the definition, mansions within Bayville's history. Of those 6, only 1 is still standing, and that is the Rouse Mansion. I believe this is important for a multitude of reasons. For one, I think it shows how much Bayville has grown over the past 100 years. We've been able to utilize properties in the States to build beautiful communities such as Oak Point. But I also think it's important to point out that we're at a crossroads in history where we might want to take this opportunity to conserve our history. I think the Bayville Museum has done a fantastic job of doing just that. But not every story and not every historical moment is meant to be told through fable and story. Some are meant to be seen with the own eyes, and I believe Calendar House is a beautiful opportunity for that to happen. I think there's a multitude of options for it, and I would love to see within the future that kind of comes from now to 100 years ago. I would hate to see one of our last remaining historical landmarks go. And yeah, I just hope to see, I know that those can't do too much, but I would hope that there would be some effort put towards conserving this mansion and ensuring that future generations to come will be able to see it in any glory. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Jim Cicero, 14 Merritt Lane, Bayville, New York. Your favorite. Regarding this property thing, and I realize that it hasn't changed, because certainly I'm living on property that had a mansion on it, so, in that respect, we should accept these changes, should they come about. Does the village have any?
To buy it and subdivide it into 8 lots, they could build 8 homes there,
That would be it. That would be the max.
unless they went for a variance for smaller lots.
Smaller lots. As far as the historical building that I was in once, in this village, it's to keep the old, get rid of the old, make the change happen. I hope, my perspective is I don't care about that old building, because it doesn't serve the community in any way other than, ooh, look, there's an old building. I would hope that the village would entertain that change. I for one don't want to see this change go towards Great Neck type development. Higher buildings, taking away from the culture of a beautiful little village. I think we want to defend that. And I think that the village should hold true to that concept of maintaining the uniqueness of our village with any new development. I would hope that the village would take that seriously into consideration, as the villages would like to be more involved with hearing what's going on, rather than go on conjecture and all the nonsense that goes
Bring it
in.
all to us, there's
Yeah.
no news to give you.
Uh-huh. And I know
And
that
if-
cerebral palsy is funded 95% by the state.
I don't know. the
That I
answer.
do know, because when I was involved with the towers, with the cell towers. So that condition exists there. Will they sell it? Do they have to sell it? Do they want to sell it? I mean, does cerebral palsy actually want to sell it? They do.
They're doing
Yes,
their
they
due
do.
diligence.
They do want to sell it.
I mean, they're at a crossroads, I guess you would say, at
I
the
have
point
one.
whether they renovate or sell. So they're, they'll figure that out, and at
Renovate.
some
What
point,
is that?
the interior of that building
Oh,
is
just-
very, very bad.
Yes, I understand that. You read it up on Merritt Lane and another one by Perry. They were trying, okay, but we did receive a notification
Okay, but you
from the
said-
village.
So Nassau County for traffic count.
Oh, Nassau County put them up as a traffic review? Or was it up on the pole?
Cameras.
You were two.
I mean, we receive notices when they do them, I don't know.
I was just wondering what the purpose of that was.
It was for traffic patterns, there was a notice thing. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
It was for traffic patterns.
For what purpose?
We'll have to look into it, I don't know why they were put there. I mean, I know there was one on Mountain Avenue, and I forget the other location, Creek Road.
Maybe it's a
Mountain
mistake.
Avenue was
Why
Creek
we went up
Road,
and
and
down.
I don't recall anybody asking permission or telling us.
See, that's, is it something we should look into? But obviously it's just.
When was this? When were they there?
I think it was last summer. I think it was maybe 5 months ago.
Notice for traffic.
Yeah, you guys don't know about it.
Yeah.
Interesting. About 2 weeks.
Oh.
And
Maybe
they
they
were
made a
not
mistake
strips,
and
they
installed
were
them.
things on the pole.
Usually it's New York City or T.
Yeah, we'll look into it and see, but again, they always give us notice when they're doing it.
It's not relevant to
It's
the
not.
property of cerebral palsy, then I have no problem. I don't care otherwise, you know. All right, well, thank you.
Just before you, Vince, before you just go there, I just want to make a point that the village has a fantastic app, the Village of Bayville app that has
Okay.
public notices on it, and things like that would be posted on those public notices when we're made aware of those things.
You're saying that the camera notice possibly was on the app?
I'm saying, as we
Notifies us because they're the ones that are putting them up for their purposes. And then we in turn send out the notifications.
Anybody else like to comment?
I'd just like to ask a follow-up question on the zoning. So it's 1 acre residential, but there's nothing to prevent the village from rezoning that if somebody came in with a proposal, say for a hotel, corporate or nonprofit organization office, you could rezone it for that use, correct?
We could rezone it for 1/3 acre lots too, if we chose to, but yes, the answer is yes.
But politically, you would do that. But, yeah, so I mean, that's the current zoning, but it's not, well, went to that. Okay, thank you.
Lisa always says 76 Bayville Avenue. Somebody brought up a good point, is homeless, for the homeless veterans. Imagine that. I mean, like, I like that idea personally, about that property. Okay, so there's two things. One concerning the Legion, and is it true they're getting kicked out of there?
Well, that's a private matter. I mean, I'm sure you read the information on Facebook. They were served an eviction notice that they're fighting, but, that's not for us to discuss. That has nothing to do with
Like,
us.
there's nothing Bayville could do. I mean, like Memorial Day is coming.
I would be very surprised if they get evicted from that building, so let it play out and we'll see what happens.
I don't wanna let it play out there, out. I wanna stop
I'm
it
in,
before.
I'm in regular contact with them. I think they're safe, but we'll see what happens.
All right, well, I'd like to put in effort to make sure they stay.
They have been offered to use our community center, et cetera, in the event that they are evicted, but I think they'll be okay.
Good, that's one. Two is, okay, so you guys know where I live, right on the corner, across the street. And the traffic is terrible. Like, I can't get out of my driveway. It would be a real danger to have more cars in that lot over there.
I'm sorry, where do you live?
76 Bayville Avenue,
And
so
where
it's
is
right
that?
in front of IGA.
Okay.
And
On the same side as that, Jerry, or opposite?
it's like the Christmas tree house.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the actual numbers.
So there's
Yeah.
80 people that work in that building every day,
Mhm.
assuming there's 80 cars.
Yeah,
So if there's 15 to 20 houses, you'll probably have less cars.
I doubt it. Each house has like at least 2 cars.
Okay, so if there was 20 houses, you'd have 40 cars, you'd have half as many.
That would be around the clock. All right, so I went to Dad's Ed thing Saturday, and asked them about my situation, because it's really scary. Like, if I come up Perry at the light, it turns red, I turn, I go into Miami. If you have traffic coming this way, out of that place, and I'm getting hit coming this way, just making the turn.
So
Like,
the
definitely
driveway for the UCP building is down by Beaver Drive.
Well, who's gonna use the other one?
That's not their problem.
That's like, of course, they have
That's
2
the
doors.
original.
That's the nursing home.
Yeah,
Oh, so that's it? It's just gonna be for a nursing home?
it would have to be. I mean, it's not, that driveway doesn't belong to the UCP side.
Very good. That one's good then. But I'm totally against tearing it down. I'd like it to be made into something too, whether it's a hotel or a place for the vets or some use, reconstructed and stuff like that. We need land. We have to keep the land for the environment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Right, yeah, right.
Richard Schwartz, 32 More Great Court, and I just have a question, because as you heard, there's a lot of rumors, a lot of conjecture. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page of what we know. All we know is that cerebral palsy from the foundation wants to sell it. Is that?
I mean, they're investigating whether they're going to sell the building or they're gonna renovate it.
That's all we know. All the rest of this is smoke and mirrors.
All the rest.
That's what I want to know. 20 houses, 30 houses, a hotel, all of that is just.
Yeah, there has been nothing put forward to us other than the UCP coming here. I mean, it's gotta be a year ago already, I would guess, that they're exploring options of moving.
Everything else is possibilities. All we know is that they're looking at something. Thank you very much.
You have the letter for the record.
Oh, do it needs to be this.
I believe Ms. Celia wanted it.
Okay, to Mayor Minicozy and the Board of Trustees regarding development of the Clarkson Estate. Hope everyone will keep an open mind on the subject as opposed to the almost,
I think it's xenophobic.
xenophobic reaction to the first proposal at the Steves Pierce site. The site is lovely as is. Everyone should agree. Under special use, the building was operated as a healthcare facility. Nobody seemed to mind. It would be such a boon to have a senior independent living project right here in Bayville. Gut the building, create studio and 1-bedroom co-ops, possibly in cooperation with the town of Oyster Bay. There is a constant need for this type of housing as our population ages. People who are not severely disabled want an independent private existence without the hassle of home upkeeping, but are not looking for luxury. And Bayville would award you. Maybe your parents would be interested. Thank you for your attention. Lynn Elia, P.O. Box 1342, 3 Franklin Avenue, Bayville. Okay, thank you.
The young organization, deserving.